First things first, so to get this out of the way, hopefully on a good note too, Kingdom Blood is now on Steam and mobiles, and the whole thing is free actually. That's right, you can play the entire game for free and still end up regretting it. Now, here's the thing. It's an action RPG, zombies, survival in a way, hack and slasher, based off of the Korean TV show with the same name, which is, I think, one of the greatest Korean shows I've ever seen. But that being said, it's a pretty buggy game and still could use a lot of work. Or maybe even that's why it's free in the first place. Anyway. Coming to PCs and mobiles exclusively, you can play this one on a demo right now on Steam. Number two, we have One Way Home, which is this 2D, 3D puzzle horror platform adventure, halfway a mix of the old-time famous game Inside, more action-oriented however, like the Little Nightmares, offering multiple endings and a faster pace. Not to mention it's also about the story of a 12-year-old boy who has to survive against all odds on his only one-way home attempt. A year old, but Bohemian Interactive is actually working on DayZ 2, along with Arma Reforged and Arma 4. I just want to keep this in mind. DayZ has been out of early access for over 6 years now, and the new game has been in the works since at least the past few years. Just keep it in mind. No longer available on Steam with the demo, although coming out fully in the next few months, if not weeks. If you missed it over here, Echoes of the Living is the most hyped Resident Evil inspired classic retro game in the making right now. It's a 90s inspired survival fixed camera angle visual horror game, and a better game in graphics than any Resident Evil game ever was in its own time, at least in the visuals. Here's the trailer, we got a new one, the game is a PC exclusive limited time, and this is how it looks. Coming to PCs exclusively mid to late 2024, number 5, we've got a first time mention over here going by the name Ghost Shadow, which is a single player dynamic FPS in two universes with AAA graphics, upgrade systems, puzzles, and actually horror game elements, all set in a steampunk apocalyptic style. That's how developers put it. This game is actually made with the use of Unreal Engine 5 and it's somehow its first work as well.
Fine, I'm on it. But listen here, McWay. As soon as I get back,
NetEase went on and revealed another trailer for Once Human, on top of a release window of fall 2024 on PCs exclusively, possibly mobiles as well. This game, if you aren't familiar with, since almost 3 years ago, is an open-world survival third-person shooter, maybe a tad inspired by the TV show The Stranger Things in the lore of it, but quite different in experience, and you might want to know there's a beta taking place on March 28th this year. Here's how it looks. This has been a while since we had something you could say similar to this, but a couple of weeks ago we came across a new IP that happens to be a squad-based survival horror shooter going by the name Forever Winter. Now, frankly, we're not sure if this is gameplay, maybe there's some hints of it, but mostly the cinematic. This game seems to be inspired by the Generation Zero, Mass Effect maybe, and even the Warhammer universe. Anyway, it's coming to pieces exclusively within 2024 here. After its reveal over a month ago, Moonless Formless developers just came out with another trailer on Withering Rooms, and a release date of April 2nd across PCs and all consoles except Switch. That being said, Withering Rooms is set in this procedurally generated Victorian era. It's a survival horror game set in a mansion that actually changes each night. It's made in a 2.5 dimension angle, definitely inspired by the Little Nightmares and the Clock Tower games. Coming in at number 9, announced no more than 12 hours ago, Void here is this dark fantasy first-person action RPG hack and slasher, were created by a solo developer, a bit maybe inspired by the old Hexen even. Now here's the good news. In about 2 days, you can play this game on Steam with a demo, but the full game is said to be coming out possibly by the end of 2024. In any case, there's a lot of resemblance over in action, and also setting with games such as Diablo, Doom, and even the Serious Sam. Here's the thing, guys. This is almost 7 years since the previous iteration, but Tripwire Interactive finally confirmed and revealed Killing Floor 3 a little while ago, basically November last year. They said the new entry is releasing on PCs and next generation of consoles mid to late 2024, and we do believe it might turn out to be the lord of all co-op action horror shooting games once all over again. The new game here actually takes place 7 years at the events of Killing Floor 2. This is how it looks. Anyway, we all know there's like a million zombie survival shooting games out there, and like one more isn't gonna break any ground, right? Outbreak Island might be at the least a pretty good clone off of what we already have out there, just the same old usual survival horror games, or at least what they offer. It's actually a bit like Palworld, even though there's not much of a resemblance. A little bit of Day Before premise, which was a disaster, and set on a remote island in a sandbox open world. Anyway, here's a trailer. This game is coming to PCs eventually by the end of 2024. Dread Dawn is, at the moment, one of the most anticipated zombie survival games on the horizon, well, regardless of its nature. This thing has actually been viewed over 5 million times on YouTube on its single gameplay trailer. See, what's really crazy about this thing is this game is an open world sandbox survival inspired by many good games such as Alien shooters, Project Zomboid on its nose, and even the World War Z. Here's a PC exclusive and possibly coming out sometime next year. Inspired by old and classic survival horror games, over here, number 13, we've got The Mute House. Now, you can try this one on Steam, there's a free demo for it. The full game is expected to come out by the end of 2024, remaining a PC exclusive as well. Here, Mute House basically combines exploration, management, puzzles, and a touch of action. You do play as a female protagonist who investigates about her sister's vanishing, and eventually finds herself trapped in a mysterious mansion.
turning and turning in the widening gyre.
Been in the making for almost 4 years already. At number 14, we've got over here 4 minutes to Apocalypse. It's a somewhat mix of a first-person psycho thriller with survival mechanics, letting players attempt to stop a submarine's captain, we do believe, before the end of the world, hitting a nuclear weapon. This game seems to be in space and somewhat inspired by the Dead Space games, but it's a whole different story and setting. It's gonna be coming out soon. We're here.
Passionate intensity. The darkness drops again, but now I know that 20 centuries of stony sleep were vexed to nightmare by a rocking cradle. And what rough beast its hour come round at last slouches towards Bethlehem to be born.
Sitting on Steam through a demo since last month, number 15 we have a developer's first work going by the name Vane. This is another post-apocalyptic survival multiplayer sandbox game where your actions are limited to gathering supplies, survive, exploring abandoned buildings, fighting bandits and assisting friends, and eventually build a society with them. Here's how it looks. That being said, available through early access on Steam since May last year. Number 16, we have a game called Passed Out, coming out of its early access and into its finished form next month whilst offering a brand new mode. Now for those of you unfamiliar with Passed Out, this game is an H1Z1 inspired battle royale zombie shooter. It's a third-person shooter, some better survival mechanics maybe, and a whole lot of building. Check it out.
What are all you poor people with pistols? I have an AK.
Trying here with my bat to hit anything.
Number 17, we've got over here possibly one of the longest awaited games on the horizon going by the name Hellbreach Vegas, which is now finally coming out on PCs exclusively on March 11th this year, after like a year and a half of just nothing. It's a wave-based first-person shooter for 1 to 4 players, made by one man, and the whole premise is just kill and earn cash and spin slot machines and level up to improve your survival chances. Anyway, that's how it looks. Check it out in case you missed it.
No!
Look at the size of that hammer.
Smash your head.
Who has the minigun?
Me, baby.
Oh my god.
Oh, there's an extra ammo perk outside.
Coming at last, Forever Entertainment is remaking the old night slashers back into the gaming scene in the next few months as well. Not just on PCs but on Switch and other consoles as well. This is the same folks who also made the recent House of the Dead remake, which was kind of a disaster, but it's a beat 'em up game over here. It's a side scroller, not as famous as the Streets of Rage games, but you can say right up there with action and quality. It's now coming back with a bigger roster, enhanced gameplay, visuals, and new music.